Leo XIV to the media, peace begins with each one of us. In the meeting with media representatives, Pope Leo XIV remembered the imprisoned journalists and called for their release. He also urged those present to use unarmed and disarming communication. Pope Leo XIV's first audience in the Paul VI Hall was with the media representatives who worked during the conclave reporting on the events surrounding the election of a new Supreme Pontiff. I thank you for the work you have done and are doing in this time, which for the Church is essentially a time of grace, the Holy Father told them at the beginning of his address on Monday, May 12th. No to war. And then he reflected on the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the peacemakers, MT 5:9, to urge them to use unarmed and disarming communication that communicates peace. Peace begins with each of us, with the way we look at others, listen to others, and talk about others. And, in this sense, the way we communicate is of fundamental importance. We must say no to the war of words and images. We must reject the paradigm of war, says Pope Leo XIV. Freedom for imprisoned journalists. And he took the opportunity to reiterate the Church's solidarity with journalists imprisoned for seeking and reporting the truth, for whom the Pope called for their release. The suffering of these imprisoned journalists challenges the conscience of nations and the international community, calling us all to safeguard the precious good of freedom of expression and of the press, creating culture and human environments. Pope Leo XIV noted that communication, in fact, is not only the transmission of information, but the creation of a culture of human and digital environments that become spaces for dialogue and confrontation. And recalling Pope Francis reiterated the invitation of the upcoming World Communications Day. Let us disarm communication of all prejudice, resentment, fanaticism, and hatred. Let us purify of aggression. Disarming and disarming communication allows us to share a different vision of the world and act in a manner consistent with our human dignity. I ask you to consciously and courageously choose the path of peaceful communication, the Pope concluded.